driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope that you are happy and healthy and safe wherever you are right now. What a great conversation about what's at the movies this weekend, in particular, The Odyssey, which I have not had the opportunity to see. Paul Shivari, are you planning to go see this movie? Will you have the opportunity to see The Odyssey? Will you? I'm sorry, I cut you off guard there. I didn't give you a heads up that I wasn't asking any questions. I don't have it on. Are you coming up? Is that me or you? Because I have, it's definitely the right. Let me see. Is it me? Is it you? Is it my fault? Is it your fault? It's no one's fault. It's just happening. Because I thought that the conversation with Rebecca and Scott Duff on Joe Esposito's show was great regarding The Odyssey, which I do want to see, and it's obviously something we should see on the big screen, but I don't know when I'll have an opportunity to. Do I have to push anything else? Have I pushed something wrong? Check and see. I'm trying to see if Paul has recovered fully from no longer having World Cup games to watch, but the new season for a lot of soccer teams is starting, was what he shared with me recently. So
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Hi.
Yes. Hi. Well, the first question is, do you have interest in seeing The Odyssey?
No, not really.
Oh, really?
I'd rather read the book, and I don't have time to read the book right now.
Is there anything in particular, like just not your style of movie?
I just haven't gotten into movies in a long time.
Oh,
Like, I don't know
okay.
if it's my attention span, or I just don't like modern Hollywood. I don't know.
When do you feel like that shift happened for you? Like, was there a point that you did enjoy going to the movies? I could see that.
Absolutely. I'm like a former film school student. So yeah, probably in the last 10 years or so.
Do you get the sense though that there's sort of a resurgence of independent filmmaking? Because it did the industry got crushed by the big tent movies, like all the Avenger movies and things like that.
Yeah, I think with the ability of streaming, there's a lot of stuff out there.
Okay.
So, I'm like, yes, I've seen modern movies, but earlier I was talking to Mike Mercado, and he's like, you got to see Oppenheimer. Have you seen that? I was like, no.
I also have not seen that, by the way. I did see Barbie at the same time. People were doing that weird double feature thing with Barbie and Oppenheimer. But no, I haven't seen that either. It seems like an investment of time more for me, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe you and I need to break it up. Maybe we should ask somebody, like, where's a good place to watch half one day and half the other day?
Go. Yeah,
right?
Like a good stopping point.
Yeah, like a limited series.
With that being said, though, I have seen movies in the theater, but they're not serious films. I saw The Phoenician Scheme a year ago, and then I saw Gail Daughtry in The Celebrity Sex Pass, which is David Wayne and the people from The State.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
It sounds great.
Yeah, it was really good.
Is it like?
It's a stupid movie, but I enjoyed it.
Is it the idea that you have a list of people that if you happen to run into the celebrity, you have a hall pass to?
Exactly, but this is a modern retelling of The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Yeah, you should read about it and look into it.
The Phoenician what?
No, The Phoenician Scheme was the Wes Anderson movie from a year ago with Benicio del Toro.
Okay, that got left in my head.
Daughtry is the one that came out this year. That's the Wizard of Oz retelling.
I had no idea.
I had no idea either, but one of my friends is a big David Wayne fan, and about a month ago, he's like, hey, let's go see this movie. And I heard nothing about it, but I like David Wayne, so I went with him, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Excellent. All right, but the big epic, because I was thinking about this is something I think my mom would enjoy seeing, but I was trying to figure, I remember this seems to have some of the energy that I remember of Titanic having when it came out a little bit. Where I feel like even Rebecca was saying she already saw it twice. It just came out last week. Am I wrong?
I think you're right. Yeah.
So when Titanic came out, we went to see it. I saw it with my mom in the 12th week of viewing of it being in the theaters, and it was packed. We had to sit in the second row. It was so crowded.
This is the Titanic?
Titanic, when that came. So I feel as though this is having that same sort of energy and momentum behind it with people wanting to see it several times. And we actually, there was a bit of a verbal altercation that felt like it might get physical because the women behind me and my mom were talking the entire film. Oh, wow. And because they had seen it so many times and now had learned more about the background of it. And I remember the moment that really this one was and they really got the real pattern off the china. So they did enough research to make sure it really matched what was on it was that loud, that specific, and it was bad. And finally my mom got up in front of the entire theater, turned around to them and yelled, "You are effing annoying." I mean, like, just blew her top.
Did it elicit applause from other people that agreed
No,
with her?
that's the thing. Is it because we were in front of them? I think that we heard because like, nobody else, and perhaps other people were talking in other parts of the theater. But then, like they started like verbally accosting her. So I got up and I sat next to them. And I was like, you want to talk? Let's sit here and talk, ladies. So then I realized I was escalating the situation. So I went to the lobby to let them know that there might be a situation in the theater.
So what was the outcome of that?
Very just uncomfortable rest of the movie. And because it was early. It was when they were going to the dining light because they were talking about the China. It was very early in the film. So it was very uncomfortable for me. So for some reason I have that locked in my head going to see the Odyssey. Like if I go too late, there will be people who've seen it multiple times and will talk whole way through the movie, but it'll still be crowded if I go in the next couple weeks. I don't know.
So I've been lucky the last 2 times I was at the theater. It was just me and my friend in the theater.
Isn't that a great feeling?
Oh, it's amazing.
Having your own
it's
private
like you feel
screening.
like you have this giant living room to yourself.
Oh my God. I can't remember. I haven't seen that many movies in the theater since even since the boys were born, because Griffin didn't like going to the movie theaters. So in 20 years, I mean, I've probably seen maybe a couple films a year, but at any rate, the folks that are going to see the movie multiple times are part of what might keep me from it. I got a text from Mark who says, I haven't heard it mentioned on WCPT, but there's a big summit of the Democratic Socialists at McCormick Place. I was wandering through there, and it was hilarious to see them all lined up at the Starbucks. That's hysterical. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, at any rate, I'm thinking about taking my mom to the theaters. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, go see it.
We'll enjoy.
Is there anything coming out that you might consider going to the theater? Like, there's another Spider-Man movie coming out, right?
There is Coyote versus Acme. I want to see that one.
That sounds amazing.
You know the story, right?
I just know that it's the Roadrunner and the Coyote and all the things.
You got it.
Yeah.
So I guess he sues Acme finally.
For the anvil.
And John Cena and Foghorn Leghorn are the counsel for Acme.
Oh my God, who's playing Foghorn Leghorn? Do we know?
That's a good question. I'm sure they have like Looney Tunes special voice guy, but yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That I would go see in the movie theaters as well.
I think that comes out at the end of August.
I'm watching the stupid. It's not stupid. It's just because it touches Gen X so deeply. The Little House on the Prairie there's a new series, a new imagined version. Not imagined. I mean, it's obviously they're extrapolating from the books, but I'm enjoying it actually. So there you go. Oh, by the way, Pride Coffee Roasters just messaged me. Patty and I went to go see. Jackie says Patty and I went to go see it on Wednesday at Norridge. It was not busy and only half full. So I guess I'm safe to go. Cool. All right, then Norridge is a solid place to go see a theater. Go see a movie. Yeah, I'm trying to figure, because a lot of people are going to see go seeing it on IMAX. I don't think I'm going to need that. We went to go for Declan's birthday. We took him to the Flyover Chicago. Have you heard of this at Navy Pier? So there's a ride at Disney World that Declan loved called Soarin', where you basically, it's all simulated, right? And you're in these seats, you're in a bank of seats, and it's sort of like roller coaster style, a little bit, and your feet dangle, like you're sort of swooped up, and then you glide over what looks like the planet, and they'll do like sensory things, like if you're on the ski slopes, it's sort of a little bit of mist from the snow and like the smell of oranges over Florida and things like that. So Flyover Chicago, they actually do 2. They do Colorado and they do the Great Rockies, and then they do they do Chicago. And it was interesting. When we got out, we did Colorado first. You can do just one or the other or both. And it was pretty cool. I would say if you have somebody in town and you want to spend a little money and do a fun little, I actually kind of liked Colorado better, because there was a point where the Chicago one is much more, not herky jerky, but the guy leading us out said that Colorado is the chill, Chicago is the thrill. So it like it faces you straight down, like you're coming down a skyscraper at one point. I got a little bit of vertigo because I just have that naturally, but at one point I go, well, that's not geographically accurate. It bugged me, because you're sort of gliding through the whole city, and at one point we're like over Buckingham Palace, the Buckingham Fountain, and it like swoops down, and all of a sudden we're at the Lincoln Park Lagoon. I'm like, nope. No, I say we didn't like cover any territory. We didn't go over Lakeshore Drive or anything to cover that ground. So it was fun. Like again, and it's funny because they sort of stretch it out in order to justify how much how much you pay for it. This is a weird connection to make, and I don't know that you needed to know this about me, but have you ever heard of the production out of Australia? They had 6 touring groups called Puppetry of the Penis. This was I stay with me. So they only had a 38-minute performance, but they were charging theater prices. That was it. There's only so many tricks they could make with their peppies, right? So they would hire in every city they went to a comedian to open for them. So and they decided it was easier to have women, because otherwise the women, like, it's all bachelorette parties and a lot of women, and they're yelling, take off your clothes, right? So they had women so we could identify. So I was an opening act for them. It reminded me of that. With the flyover, they have this like whole introduction part. So you're kind of standing there and you're getting a little bit of the story and you get a glimpse of what you're going to see. But I feel like they did that so you feel okay with how much you paid to be on the ride.
Okay.
I know it's a weird connection to make, but that's how my brain works. And now you've learned way more than you needed to.
I was
Yes.
gonna say, when you're saying like geographically inaccurate Chicago, it made me think of watching The Bear or the opening to the Bob Newhart show.
Yeah.
It's taken him like 2 hours to commute home.
Yeah, and he lives right down there, right on Lakeshore Drive. Yeah, yeah. No, it's absolutely that, and there's much more suspension of disbelief. Like, we know we're not actually flying over Chicago, and maybe if I was in Colorado and knew every single mountain, every single river, every single rock, I would be like, that's not where that rock goes, right? That would be different than flying over the Chicago theater, and then now we're underneath the expressways, and there's a basketball court there, right? And you're like, I'm sorry, where am I? And I do kind of wish, this is in case anybody knows that the people like they're going to change it. I actually kind of wish they'd gone into some neighborhoods. Would have been really cool, because they do allude to that in the outer room where you're seeing this video of. It's really kind of cool. They have a choir, these kids that are about to perform at the Chicago theater. That's what you see in the outer room, and then but then we're flying into the Chicago theater. Right?
Yeah.
Which I was kind of like, are we?
It is a pretty theater, though.
It is pretty. And it was funny because that was Declan's favorite part. He started giggling when we were like on stage, like flying over the choir. But I'm also like, so we're drone? Like, it's like my brain was sort of hijacked from the.
Have you ever seen, there was like a Wrigley Field, like drone footage, the thing that they put together where they're kind of like flying around the neighborhood and in and out of the field?
Oh, I think I've seen something. I mean, I've seen a few, but I don't know if I've seen that one.
I don't know. It's really neat, but that's what kind of reminds me of what you were talking about. And I love watching on YouTube like drone footage going over cities and stuff like that.
Well, and that's a little bit how it feels, and it doesn't have that sort of like people ducking, like, oh my God, there's a whole boatload of people flying over us, or a drone, whatever it was, however it was filmed. And there were some really cool parts to it, and I enjoyed it. And it was kids were screaming. Right, because they're like being like you kind of like scooch off and forward, and then you're like tilting left and right and then really just face down. That was a little bit. I thought that was aggressive.
The thrill of cinema, right?
Yeah,
it's like early cinema when it was like the train approaching the screen, and everyone's ducking for their lives.
Yeah, right. Is it gonna come through the screen? Am I gonna crash? And anyway, I do recommend it. I just preferred the Colorado Rockies a little bit. Let's see. Hey, Patty, it's listening on AM 820. He is super duper quiet compared to me. Oh, you know what? That's me. I can fix Paul.
I'm also cranked all the way up here.
Oh, yeah. So but I can crank you up here.
Cool.
There you go.
You'd have to watch the levels. That
was
back
me.
Here.
Thank you for the advice, 214. We appreciate that. Are you really in Texas? I would need to know if this listener is really in Texas, or do you just have a Texas phone number? Let me know, please. Jill in Evanston says, listening to the free audiobook of the Odyssey on 11 Reader app, which I heard about on a commercial during a Frangella podcast while I was cleaning the litter boxes. I love the detail in this. I thought, okay, it's been a while since I read that, and the Iliad in high school and the Golden Ass in college. Not sure about the app. I think the voices are AI. Oh, I can see that, like audiobooks being AI now. Oh, that would suck.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, before we go to the break and bring in Tom Appel, I think he's here. Somebody, do you scroll quite a bit? Do you
here and there? Yeah.
Have you seen this new trend where people are reading one line, like read this real sad, read this real angry, read this real whatever? There's a trend.
No,
right
I haven't
now.
seen that. No.
And some actors are doing it, and they're like, timid, and they're doing all the range. And this actor came on, and he goes, "Look, they used to have actors come in to do AI voiceover. They would capture it so they could alternate the voice. And a lot of us said no because we know it's going to replace us, and they think that they're just using the audio that people are providing on social media in order to reflect different moods."
Oh, wow. Okay.
And to inform, to educate their AI, like the audiobooks and all that other things. And because I have several friends, their entire careers are voiceover work, and it is so much more authentic. It is richer. Like my friend Yenny Alvarez is the voice of Sparkle in the Lego movies in Spanish.
Oh, cool.
So she does Monsters High. She does if you're ever at any Disney World property, at least until they replace her, and that's her job, is she does all the instructions in Spanish. Like, please keep your arms in the ride till it comes, stay in the ride till it comes.
Didn't our union fight to make sure that this wouldn't happen to us?
They pretty much folded on some of the voiceover stuff as well as the background artists, like what the rate would be to scan somebody to then use their image for AI as background, as extras, essentially.
Wow.
Yeah, so and the thing about that is that you're also limiting the amount of experience somebody gets on a movie set, on a TV set. Extra work might not seem like anything, but that's also helping people learn the trade. It's almost like it's I don't know, apprenticeship, even though you are getting paid for it. So it's just a little sad. It's Jeff and Elgin. Thanks. PV, not only have I heard of Puppetry the Penis, I was at Star Performer for several years until an unfortunate accident knocked me out of the lineup. Do you know how your parents told you someday your face is stay like that? Well, okay.
Are you allowed to read that on the air?
What's cromulent mean? Because
it's a made-up word from The Simpsons that I think in context would mean like perfectly okay or perfectly good.
Well, I will take that. We'll talk a little more about what's going on. I'm tired today, like covering everything and nothing matters. And like, there's another report out that Trump has been soliciting campaign funds. Like he basically is calling his fundraiser to like find out how much money big corporations are donating. And if they're not, like how to put the squeeze on them. And no one's going to care. It's going to go in two categories. And it's, another day that ends in Y or fake news. It's all like nobody is tracking these things. I'm tired. Let's take a break here. We'll have Tom Appel on in just a moment. Thank you to our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. Put in an order for some of the best single origin roasted to order coffee beans you'll ever have. And thank you to our friends at Source Solar. Go to source.solar. Make an appointment. Peter Sorellis. Maybe it's time to get solar panels on your house or business. And when you go green, you save green. So get started now by going to source.solar. And thank you to Minocqua Brewing Company. Go to minocquabrewingcompany.com and order a 4-pack of Fascist Tears. I think you have to order 3 4-packs, but they're delicious, and you'll really enjoy drinking Fascist Tears. Go to minocquabrewingcompany.com and minocquamarketplace.com for some great products from vendors all over the country who will not give a dime no matter how much Trump puts a squeeze on anybody in their universe. So go to minocquamarketplace.com as well. More after this.
Out Chicago.
Kiddos, we all need to find the courage to stand up to people when they say things that are completely wrong. Like what Governor Pritzker said, we need to get ready when they sound that 5-alarm fire. We all need to be up there with buckets to douse the flames.
I'm ready.
I am too.
Are you?
This flamer is ready to douse the flame, and I never like to douse my flame.
Catch Out Chicago every Sunday, 11 to 1 on WCPT 820.
If you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Suzanne called after hearing me explain discount points on my radio show because her son was purchasing a home in Colorado. I answered Suzanne's questions and encouraged her son to call me for a free consultation. Suzanne was so impressed with the service I provided, she wrote this 5-star Google review. Quote, I sent David an email today with a question about discount points that I heard him talk about on his radio show. And he called me back this evening with a complete explanation. I'm so impressed with his responsiveness and knowledge. Thank you, Suzanne, for the amazing review. I strongly encourage everyone to check out Team Hochberg's close to 600 5-star Google reviews. Team Hochberg helps Suzanne and thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 643114.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
Or
and Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, and of course our friends joining us on KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, and our friends tuning in digitally on Facebook, YouTube, and now on Monaco Brewing Company's Substack. We're so excited to have everybody join us. And if you miss any part of our show, of course, you can find all of our shows podcast on heartlandsignal.com. And joining me in studio, by the way, I was looking at how much, I wanted to find out how much the average new car sells for in this country starting like about last month. What would you say? What's your number you got there, Tom Appel, car guy?
Country's giving you the number and what we mean by average transaction price, but we're at about $52,000.
Okay, so does that come out to, so the monthly payment is about $808, the highest July payment ever recorded.
Yeah.
And that's a mortgage in some parts of the country.
And they're longer than they used to be. The average loan length is something like 72 months or 70 months. So actually there was a figure that came out this month. And it's distressing. People who are upside down on their vehicle, which means that they owe more than the vehicle is worth at trade-in time.
Oh my God!
Are upside down by an average of $7,000. So you're taking.
How do you ever catch that?
You don't.
What?
You don't. You're taking $7,000 and just adding it to the price of your car.
Wow.
And then what happens is you don't hit a 20% threshold for down payment. That raises your interest rate because you basically become a credit risk. So, yeah, it's a brutal cycle. We will be paying for the cycle. Dealers and manufacturers will be paying for this soon.
Wow.
Like in the next 5 months, 5 years, we're going to see.
Hey, Warren?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, this is worse than it was last week. Where, are you next to a washing machine?
No, I am absolutely in a very small space.
Yeah, but is there any are there any rugs or pillows?
The air conditioning fan is running.
Yeah,
let me turn it off. Let me turn it off.
Yeah, that's a lot. Hey, sir, I'm gonna turn him off too. That's a lot. That's a lot going on in that room. Whatever. Warren, if you come back, I've got. Let me see. That's a lot going on. Let's see if we can get him back. Hey, Warren.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, that's definitely better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The fan's only 10 feet from me, so I turned it off.
This is our sound check for Hawk Takes a Wheel Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Breaker.
1-9er. Is that Tom in there?
That's Tom Appel joining us. Yes.
Tom, how are you? I haven't talked to you in so long.
I am well, sir. Thank you.
Oh, it's great. I'm down here in Dumas, Arkansas.
Oh.
Did you flew down or did you drive down?
I flew, and then I rented a car, and I drove to Dumas from Little Rock.
What's it like for car guys like you two to rent a car? Well, I know that Tom gets a different car every week to test drive.
For me, it was simple. I asked what they had available, and he gave me a list, and I said, give me some prices, and I said, I'll take that one. I took a Hyundai Tucson, and it's very nice.
That's
it works.
Fun.
The air conditioning works wonderful. It's only 97 degrees here today.
Oh my God! No wonder you had the air conditioning on. You're gonna die tomorrow morning.
It is so hot here. It's incredible.
Oh my God! Yeah, Arkansas hot's a different kind of hot. Yeah, I think what we need to go. If you could just, what you can do is make sure your air conditioner runs as high as possible and then turn it off for an hour while we do the show. How's that sound?
Oh, yeah, it'll be fine. I'm not even going to worry about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, but I don't want to interrupt your show. I'm glad that we're ready for tomorrow. And who loves you?
I love you.
I do.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
Tom,
Warren.
it's great to hear from you, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Take care, man.
Take care.
All right, take
Thanks,
care.
Warren. Have a great
Bye-bye.
night.
Bye.
So you were talking about the folks that are over their heads with the...
Yeah.
That is terrifying. But so what are you said that dealers are going to start paying for that. What are we seeing, like, you know, is there any, like, on lots, is there something that people can't afford, and are they turning towards those vehicles that are, or they continue to want the big SUVs with all the bells and whistles?
One of the interesting conversations, and I think this is a little preliminary and maybe just a little bit overreaching, but it gets to a point, and that's that a lot of analysts, industry analysts, thinks we're going to be going back to sedans.
Oh, really?
And there aren't a lot of them out there right now. If you take Honda and a Toyota out of the mix, there aren't that many sedans left on the market in the U.S. But there's some talk that might happen, and those are, you know, they tend to be front-wheel drive, not all-wheel drive. They tend to be smaller, so they can be sold a little bit more affordably. The other thing, too, COVID, when there was a shortage of vehicles because of the chip shortage, during COVID, we lost a lot of entry-level vehicles. So base trim levels disappeared, and then base models disappeared. And what happened was just the general average price of a car available to the public went up. Manufacturers are going to have to start building more affordable vehicles, and they're going to have to start doing it relatively soon.
Yeah.
Like there's the Ford Explorer went from like 8 trim levels when they redesigned it to 5, really 4, because one of them's kind of an off-roady thing. And they kind of killed base trim levels. Everything's expensive.
Yeah.
Starts mid-40s and goes to 60. And that's a lot. That's a big ask.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it truly is. And then with the, let's take a break here. We'll come back. We'll talk about tariffs again, too, because is it the 25% Section 232 tariff that that was started in April of 2025?
Yes.
And then, so it's been over a year. So I want to find out, like, how that's still showing. Is that still showing up, obviously, the way, I mean, is it in print? Like when they buy a car, does it say this was the tariff? Are we telling people?
No, it shows up in the bottom line.
Really?
Yeah, there's really no, I can't think of a manufacturer except maybe Audi. Audi got a little pissy about this and started showing stuff on their window sticker.
They should.
But other makers aren't doing it.
Because they're afraid of... They're afraid of Trump. Okay.
They are.
All right. Let's take a break here and continue our conversation. We can open the phone lines if folks want to join our conversation. 773-763-9278. 773-763-9278. That's the number to call and join our conversation. And you can text me at the same number. And I will get to your text as well when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle. And everyone tuning in digitally, we're grateful to have you here along for the ride. Maybe you're listening in future times on the podcast. That's what Politics Bar calls you, future people. All of our podcasts are available at heartlandsignal.com.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing across the area tonight with a low temperature of 68 degrees and winds out of the southeast at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Scattered storms remain likely Saturday with a high temperature of 70. We could see 1 to 2 inches of additional rain through the day. Sunday, patchy showers with a high of 70. Monday, lots of sun, high of 74. Sunny Tuesday, high of 79 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 73.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive.
What we do here at WCPT is more important than ever. And in addition to telling you about the latest outrage, I hope we all also offer you hope. You're not alone. We're all in this together. We are all resisting together. We are all going to work for the causes that are near and dear to our hearts.
Joan Esposito, weekday afternoons 2 to 5 on WCPT 820. WCPT Replay.
You know, Karen, one of the things that I've said before, I learned this way back in the day when I was a lifeguard, that you save the people that are closest to you. If a boat tips over, don't try to save the one that's screaming the loudest, that's the furthest away, because you'll end up going past the people that are more easily savable, that can actually help you save more people. And it stayed with me. That I learned that when I was 16 years old. It stayed with me to this day. And that's kind of how, and I've said it before on this show, that's the thing I think we have to kind of embrace right now, continually, when it comes to growing the party, getting the party back in the right order, getting those voters off the bench, is making sure that we're saving the ones that are closest to us one by one. You talk about it a lot. Michelle Peltier talks about it a lot in terms of one person at a time. And here's the thing, if all of us are saving one person at a time, look at what we got. I mean, it's pretty badass when we do it that way, don't you think?
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Here's great news for those Chicagoans heading up to southern Wisconsin. Should you ever forget to load up on progressive brews from the local favorites like Rogers Park Provisions or Park West Liquor in Lincoln Park, Minocqua Brewing Company beer is now conveniently available at Dream Liquor and Cigar in Kenosha and in the Lake Geneva area at Delavan Liquor and Smoke in Delavan. If the great town of Madison, Wisconsin is your jam, please remember to swing into the Minocqua Brewing Company tap room at 2927 East Washington Avenue to grab some Resistance beer, pizza, t-shirts, and progressive camaraderie.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our drive home here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and of course our friends tuning in on all the digital platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and now Minocqua Brewing Company's Substack. Joining me in studio is Car Guy Tom. You can follow him on all the social media platforms, Car Guy Tom, and the Car Stuff podcast, available every single week.
Yeah.
And we also want you to find him, Consumer Guide. How do folks subscribe to your newsletter?
Yeah, just reach out at carstuff@consumerguide.com.
Excellent.
One email a week. That's it.
That's you're saying you're not going to bombard us. I know. I do some work with Minocqua Brewing Company. I write a column every Monday, and we have columns every single day, or we have like vendor highlights, and then Kirk writes. So people get an email every single day. Folks, you can select like which columnist you want to hear from, but so please consider subscribing to the Minocqua Brewing Company Substack, and then you get some good deals, some conversations. And I do, for paid subscribers only, I do an office hours every Monday at 1:00. Where I just kind of prattle on the news of the day, or I did one this I did a fill-in one on Thursday, and I interviewed the commissioner for the Women's Professional Baseball League earlier this week, and I did not think I was going to get that weepy, because I played, and I know there's no crying in baseball, I get that, but I'm not crying in baseball. I'm crying about how proud I am to have been part of the history. I played Little League Baseball as the only girl on my team for 5 years.
Wow.
And my best friend from grade school, Susie, and I went out for lunch a couple weeks ago, and sorry, Sue, I know it's Sue now, but to be fair, people don't call me Patsy anymore, so I should be respectful. But she was an extraordinary baseball player, and she actually they kind of guide us all into softball, because we were the only girls, and then after that there aren't any choices. But she was saying that when League of Their Own came out, and like seeing this, like it just skipped us. You know what I mean? I mean, not just skipped us, but a whole generation of women between the 1940s, when the women who actually played the Women's Professional Baseball League had the opportunity. But these women are coming from all over the world, and they're all playing in Springfield. Did you know this?
No, I didn't. That's cool.
Every single game starting tomorrow, August 1st, is their first game in over 50 years for the Women's Professional Baseball League. Every game will be in Springfield. It's 4 teams from the coast, and they decided to launch the league. They wanted to do it in one place, sort of have it, be able to grow together and then expand next year. So it's very cool.
Well, that's very cool.
So I highly recommend getting down to Springfield, folks. Get on Amtrak, drive down if you're in Chicago. It's not that bad of a drive, and you get to try a horse. Have you ever tried a horseshoe? It's like poutine, kind of. Do you know what poutine is?
I do.
So it's a little bit like that. It's Texas toast with your choice of meat, and then fries and gravy.
But the weird thing about the horseshoe is when you see lists of like most popular sandwiches by state.
Yeah.
They always list the horseshoe. I'm like, not in Chicago.
No, I know. Here's Italian beef. Oh, and thank you for mentioning that. As a matter of fact, it's Italian Beef Fest this weekend in Jefferson Park.
No, that's Chicago.
That's Chicago. So there, I don't know how many beef vendors there are. I think there's like 8. So it's different restaurants, obviously, and you have other food options. You've got I will be volunteering at the JPF Community Stage beer tent. So if you come on by this weekend, I will be there on Sunday at 1:00, the same place I volunteer for the Jefferson Park Sunday Market. I just volunteered this week, so it was not my plan, and I saw that they still needed some volunteers.
Well, that's good of you.
I thought I'd sling a couple, 2-3 cans or bottles at folks. So I will be me and Meryl and Dawn will be your bartenders at 1:00 at the Jefferson Park Forward Community Stage. Beef Fest, Italian Beef Fest, is running tonight through Sunday. So come on over to the northwest side. It's a Memorial Park. It's at Jefferson Memorial Park proper. So that's at Lawrence and Long, if depending on which way you're coming from. But it's Italian Beef Fest. That's wild. I'm kind of excited.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool. So somebody has a question about how far-reaching is the problem with Tesla suspension systems. Have you heard about this?
No.
Is there a recall, or is it going to be swept under the carpet? I feel like someone's breaking news for us. I have not heard about the Tesla suspension systems.
I have not either.
I don't know. PV, this guy does a lot of horror stories on the automotive industry. Today's auto prices are a perfect example of absolute out-of-control capitalism and unadulterated greed. I don't see the point. If vehicle makers bring us back to the days when only the very wealthy could afford cars, they will put themselves out of business.
Yeah, yes, but I think this is temporary. Right now, companies are maximizing profits, and that's what companies do.
Right.
And companies are amoral, and we sort of have to live with that. General Motors, for example, just had one of its best quarters on record, selling fewer vehicles. And I was talking to a guy named Jamie Butters. He used to be with Automotive News. Now he runs his own news source. But one of the things he talked about when he was on our podcast was that the market has lost, since COVID, 1 million customers. That means 1 million Americans are no longer buying new cars. And that's not sustainable.
Well, and I mean, like, my kid, we talked about this before, my kid is not unique in the sense that he'll be 23 this summer, and he does not have a driver's license. A lot of younger people, like I said, are not driving. Yes, according to Reuters, U.S. auto safety regulator probes 1.2 million Tesla vehicles over suspension failure risks. Let's see. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said on Friday it has opened a preliminary investigation to these vehicles over reports that could cause a loss of vehicle steering control. They have received 156 complaints alleging the front lower lateral link detached in certain 2018 to 2020 Model 3 and 2021-23 Model Y vehicles. So that's scary.
Interesting. Yeah, that is scary. 245?
156.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big number, but it could be an anomaly. We'll see where this goes. That's a big number of cars, though, in that
pool.
Yeah, because the Model Y and Model 3 are really the only Teslas that have sold well for years.
So apparently there was a previous recall for lower lateral link detachments. There were 2,800 Model 3 vehicles that had a production issue, and there were 422 Model 3 vehicles that had similar. Anyway, I did not know. The listener was asking if they were going to sweep it under the rug. I mean, Elon is getting involved. Didn't he just say a few weeks ago that he shouldn't have gotten so involved in presidential, and now he says he's going to put millions more into Republican races?
I don't know where his head is, and I'm confused by people who invest in things. That he is running. And if anyone watched the SpaceX nightmare, the stock was issued at, I can't remember, 125 or 135 bucks. It went to like $200 really fast, and has since come down by like half. It's worth less than it was. And if you look at the numbers, it seems like the only people buying SpaceX stock sold their Tesla stock. It's a weird shell game, but it doesn't seem like the interest is there. And then today we heard more Tesla news that broke today that the company may want to merge SpaceX and Tesla. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
And a little self-serving because Tesla's been buying Cybertrucks because no one else Or I'm sorry, SpaceX has been buying.
The Cybertrucks are. I can't. Every time I see one, I yip in my mouth a little bit. I just cannot. No, I can't.
It's one of those things where if you were there early and just predicted it wasn't going to sell well, you now feel very vindicated.
I feel vindicated. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite emotions. What's your favorite emotion? Vindication. It's very good. How about this? Somebody asked about so with the tariffs, if fenders are costing more, everything downstream costs more, right? So what are you hearing on parts availability and repair bills?
Parts availability, probably not an issue. We get parts from everywhere. And like fenders are easy to stamp. That's not a difficult thing. Mm-hmm. But there are some parts. Transmissions are a problem. Very complicated devices, very expensive to import. And one of the problems we talked about this, I think, many months ago, when the tariffs started to kick in, a transmission crosses a border several times. So that makes it a tariff nightmare.
Oh, my God.
But we are starting to see some bigger decisions being made about the tariffs, and they're kind of sad. But General Motors has a plant up in Canada that it was building the Silverado 1500 in, which is their best-selling vehicle. That's their big light-duty pickup truck. And they've pulled production into the U.S., leaving a plant potentially empty up there. And Chrysler's Stellantis has a plant up there that looks like it's going to stay empty. So we are really working over the Canadians.
Yikes.
It's tough.
Yikes. Let's take a break here. I know I've got a phone call on the line, and I'll take your call when we come back from the break. Joining me in the studio is Tom Appel, Car Guy Tom. You can find him on all the social media. His social media handle on the platforms is Car Guy Tom. And you can find his podcast, Car Stuff, right? Podcast, anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
Yep, the Consumer Guide Car Stuff podcast.
And then to get the email, the newsletter.
carstuff@consumerguide.com.
Excellent. More in a moment when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150. Thank you, everyone who's tuning in digitally. We're so happy you're here. More in a moment.
Where do you find beauty? Is it the people you meet, nature, the arts, or sciences? This is Dr. Anna Pellick from Total Dentistry. To me, beauty is your inner soul, the true you. As the eyes are the window to your soul, your smile is the reflection. Have you ever met someone that frowns all day? We label them grumpy, mean, sad. But perhaps they can't smile due to missing or broken teeth. Perhaps they refrain from laughter because they are embarrassed. At Total Dentistry, our goal is to give you a smile that allows your true self to just gleam. With modern technology, sedation, and payment plans, Total Dentistry can help you overcome the obstacles to a great smile. So why not be the best version of you? Call Total Dentistry, 847-358-2477, or visit TotalDentistry.org. Total Dentistry, a general dental practice like no other. And let the world shine with your Total Dentistry smile.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our drive home here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. It's so funny. I'm in studio with Tom Appel, and we were kind of talking about listenership. And I was at a neighborhood joint over by there. I was at Rex's Tavern, which is one of my favorite bars on the Northwest Side. And there's this whole idea about gatekeeping, like don't tell people where your favorite watering hole is, because then you'll ruin the vibe. I think Rex's is kind of people in the neighborhood love it, and it's in a spot right by the Jefferson Park Transit Center. center, so a lot of people are coming back and forth. But there was a guy. It was so funny because he was older. He was probably 60s, and we were talking about politics, and he, very anti-Trump, Democrat, just kind of railing against what was happening. And I said, "Oh, you might enjoy my." I said, "Oh, do you listen to the radio?" And he started laughing at me like it was the most absurd thing I'd said, which I kind of loved. He's like, "Of course I listen to the radio." I go, "Well, I have a little radio show right down by the way on WCPT." And he goes, "I listen to you." I was really excited that he also already listened to the show, but it was just kind of funny because he laughed at me, like as though. But I mean, not everybody over 50 listens to the radio every day, even. I don't assume anything. So, folks, we're doing this one by one. Just tell everybody that we're here on WCPT because they're looking for the conversations.
Yeah, that's what radio is really good for, conversation.
Yes,
and then locally flavored.
Exactly. But, I don't know if anybody gets more local than I do like that. I mean, obviously, specifically down to the Northwest side, but I go other places. I own a 2000 from the 773. I own a 2007 Ford Focus, and it is running fine. But is there a reason to get a new car now? Interesting. Man, I would drive a Ford. I miss those Ford Focuses. They were cute.
They were, and that had the power shift automatic. And if that transmission is working for you, keep the car. It was problematic for people.
Okay.
But that said, and I actually came prepared to talk about this if it came up. So it came up.
Yes.
And that's the fact that there won't be a good time to buy a car this year. Its sales are pretty even. Production is pretty even. There is no overcapacity that manufacturers are churning out too many cars. So if you want to buy a car now, probably just buy a car now. We're not going to be seeing big rebates at the end of the year.
I have to be honest. I hate to say this. I feel like it's one of those things where you're like, that worked out, right? Like sometimes when some of the prices go down or go up, like whether or not we did it at exactly the right time. We bought the 2018 RAV. It wasn't planned. We just needed another car, in particular with Declan because he wasn't walking. We needed to be more flexible with an SUV and his walker, his equipment. But we got right before like the chip shortage, the used car shortage. I mean, like right not long after we bought it, I would say within 6 months, I got an email offering me money to buy my car back at pretty much like almost the same price, if not slightly more than what we bought it for. Do you remember that during the pandemic? It was crazy.
It was crazy, and we're still paying a little bit for that. There is now fewer new cars being sold, so there are fewer nearly new cars. And we used to see that when manufacturers had excess capacity, they dumped stuff into rental fleets. And rental fleets fueled relatively affordable 1, 2, and 3-year-old cars.
That's right.
And it's not a thing happening anymore.
Wow. Yeah, I felt very fortunate. I was like, holy smokes. Yeah, so we're going to hold on to that car for a while. Although I am eyeing, sometimes Warren turns over his cars. He has a Highlander, 2015 Highlander that I kind of like. So
Highlander's a great car.
They are, but it's not a hybrid, I don't think. And I don't think I'll ever go back to a regular full gas car.
And it's funny that people reporting on the auto industry are all about the craze to buy hybrids now. And the thing about that is it's not entirely clear whether it's driven by buyer demand for hybrids or the fact that like every Toyota is a hybrid.
Yeah, it's great. Folks, I don't have to tell you, but my RAV and my 2010 Prius, I am super happy with the mileage, when the gas prices go up, it's bad, but I feel like it's not as bad as if we still had our Honda Odyssey. That was, that thing was like, I don't know, 3 miles to the gallon. It was ridiculous. Ugh.
Great V6, fun to drive.
Oh, it was. Yeah. It was a very fun minivan to have. What about the insurance, car insurance? There's Insurify says that it's going to go up 1% nationally this year, but as much as 4% if the tariff costs actually start to work their way into the claims.
We have an insurance problem anyway that isn't directly related to tariffs, though tariffs will mess with it because there are things that are sourced that are difficult to resource. And that's the fact that ADAS, Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, most of that stuff is in the windshield or in the front or rear bumpers.
Oh, golly.
So we're talking about sensors and detectors and things like that. And the problem is, I had an accident once on Route 53. I hit some guy with a Crown Victoria. It cost me $75 to replace the rubber cover on the back of his car. I just wrote a check.
Oh, my God.
So if you did that same accident now, it might cost you $4,000 because the bumper not only contains all these sensors and things that need to be replaced, someone needs to align them.
Yeah.
Like it involves a technician in ways that something that simple never did before.
Well, this goes to what Warren has talked about. If you know young people in your life or you're looking for a career change, being an auto technician is a place to go.
There is a huge shortage of them, and manufacturers are constantly offering scholarships.
Yeah, folks.
Some of them are small, but collect them.
I'm just saying, go for it. One more text before we take our phone calls. I wish more people knew the Mazdas are using Toyota hybrid drivetrains now. Toyota are impossible to get, but pretty easy to even get a discount on a Mazda.
The Mazda CX-50, which is built alongside the Toyota Corolla Cross in Alabama, uses roughly the same hybrid system, and it's very good.
Okay, that's really good.
Very good.
I like the Mazdas are super cute cars.
They're great. Yeah, that's what my daughter ended up buying.
Yeah, Warren makes fun of me because I really our brains work differently, folks. I don't have to tell you, but he cannot get over the fact that I severely hated my minivan because of the color. It was that seafoam green.
Yeah.
It was just I hated it. I hated looking. And so to explain to you like how much it means to me, my first car, I just come out of surgery. I had to have hand surgery in 2000. It was the winter of 2000, and I was a little bit loopy, but I had told Steve I kind of wanted to go. My dad had just been diagnosed with lung cancer. There were all kinds of things happening. For some reason, I got it in my head. I would like to have a car, like to show my dad that I was doing okay, that everything was going to be all right. It was a weird mentality.
Yeah.
So we're at Lober Motors, looking at, and they had. I really wanted to look at the CRV. So they were like, well, as a matter of fact, we have one that just got delivered. So we're coming down the ramp, and Steve goes, "Oh, we're buying that car." It was cobalt blue. Which is my favorite color, and I loved that car because not just because it was a 2000. It was those were great cars, Tom, with the cool little table underneath the floor mat in the back and the car in the back, the back door, the back gate. I love the little middle console that flipped. It just was a great car, and it was pretty. I'm just saying, some people just like colors on their car.
When I hear seafoam, I think of Geo. And if people don't remember Geo, it was that weird sub-brand sold by Chevy of mostly imported vehicles, mostly Suzukis and Isuzus. And it seemed like every Geo built in like 1991 was seafoam.
Yeah.
It was just such a weird moment in time.
It's just and seafoam is like, you just say dirty water. It's dirty green water. We should have waited. They were like, this is what we have. And again, same thing where Declan, which had just come home from the hospital. We had equipment. It was really a challenge. I should have waited for the powder blue. Just saying, hey, Jim, what's on your mind, my friend?
Oh, hi. Hi, Tom. Have a good weekend. Tom, I was going to ask you, what do the battering ram secret police drive? What kind of car is that?
The battering ram? Well, I think they drive a lot of SUVs. They seem to
What's the price of those, Tom?
Oh yeah.
What are we talking about here?
The ICE agents drive.
Ice. What are we paying as taxpayers for those cars?
Oh, it's a good question.
Oh,
actually.
a huge amount of money. Those are mostly Chevy Suburbans, and I don't know if people have checked yet because most people don't buy Suburbans. They are way more money than you think they are.
75,000 maybe.
Yep, to start. And
well, that's what we're paying. That's what the taxpayers are paying. The $270 billion that the Republicans gave to these maniacs. That's what we're paying for.
Yeah,
Can you imagine
it's
that?
an expensive vehicle, and they probably have the big big V8 engine. They get terrible mileage. It's an expense.
Yeah, we're paying for it.
Yep.
And plus, who's really paying for the people dying in these private prisons?
Yeah.
In New Jersey, 2 of them. It's amazing. There were 2 people that were sent to Honduras, a couple. And the father, 3 beautiful little children, the father was a roofer. They chased him down in one of these vehicles, deported him into Honduras, and his wife is stuck there in a dilemma like, well, what my husband, I'm afraid for him, I'm going to go there and be with him no matter what. Anyway, they're both found murdered.
Oh.
We're both found murdered in the forest as soon as they got off that plane. So the point is, this is a murder machine. This is a murder machine we're dealing with. At $75,000 we're paying for it. All I can say is, when are you going on vacation, Patty? I can't wait till you go.
Why? Why do you want me to...
Because you need a rest. That's why. I don't know.
I think it's funny how people are noticing that I haven't moved. Maybe it's because I went on vacation so much last year that people are noticing that I haven't left at all this year. Like, take a break, Patty.
No, but you sound. I mean, come on. You're doing yeoman work. The point is, we're going to go to Canada.
Yeah, we're going to go. Yeah, we're going to Montreal and Quebec is what my plan is.
It sounds like fun. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I've been in Toronto. I've never been either one of those two. But anyway, Patty, I mean, I'm not pushing you out of the city.
No, I appreciate it.
But I'm just saying you could use a vacation. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Patty.
Thank you so much. Let's take a break here. We're going to continue our conversation with Tom Appel when we come back in just a moment on WCPT. Well, we've got news. We've got other things to talk about. But we'll be back in a few moments on WCPT and KKNW 1150 and everyone tuning in digitally. We're grateful that you're here. More after this.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
AP News, I'm Mike Hempin. President Trump says his $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund is dead, while also continuing to defend it. 2 Senate Republicans are blocking the nomination of Todd Blanche for Attorney General until the administration puts his promises regarding the fund in writing. President Trump appears to be backing away from a commitment to give Ukraine a license to make Patriot interceptors.
President Trump stepped back from a pledge to help Ukraine make its own Patriot air defense systems.
We have not agreed to that. We're talking about it. But it's a hard thing to give away that kind of technology.
The president spoke with reporters at his cabinet meeting at Camp David, contradicting an offer he made on the sidelines of the NATO summit. Trump says he discussed the topic with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at their White House meeting on Tuesday. Zelensky is also urging U.S. officials to help him get permission to use Elon Musk's Starlink satellites to guide drone strikes inside Russia. I'm Jennifer King.
The AP's Ed Donahue reports on notes that are part of the Nancy Guthrie investigation.
An early ransom note in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie has been released by authorities in Arizona. The hope is someone will recognize the writing style. A second note indicates the 84-year-old mother of NBC Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie died shortly after she was kidnapped in February. Just a few days ago, Savannah Guthrie released a message to anyone responsible.
Make the right choice. Help us find her. Tell us where to look for her. I truly believe it is never too late to do the right thing. Help us bring this situation to an end.
Nancy Guthrie was last seen 6 months ago at her home near Tucson.
For all of us, no matter where we've been and what we've done, I believe there is always a way home.
Authorities have not said whether Nancy Guthrie is still alive. I'm Ed Donahue.
This is AP News. A SpaceX rocket is on a collision course with the moon.
Space tracking experts say that on Wednesday, a drifting SpaceX rocket unintentionally will slam into the moon after launching 2 lunar landers more than a year ago. Space tracking expert Bill Gray says impact could be near Einstein Crater on the moon's sunlit western limb at 7 times the speed of sound. But scientists aren't too concerned about the piece of space junk as more and more items cram into orbit. The space crash is expected to happen in the wee hours Wednesday, and eastern parts of the U.S. and Canada, as well as much of South America, are expected to get the best views. I'm Donna Warder.
Seaweed is blanketing the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico, suffocating shorelines and snuffing out marine life while spooking visitors in areas that depend heavily on tourism. More news at apnews.com. I'm Mike Hempin, AP News.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing across the area tonight with a low temperature of 68 degrees and winds out of the southeast at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Scattered storms remain likely Saturday with a high temperature of 70. We could see 1 to 2 inches of additional rain through the day. Sunday, patchy showers with a high of 70. Monday, lots of sun, high of 74. Sunny Tuesday, high of 79 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 73.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. All across the country, we provide resources and support in the fight against Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement.
The Parkinson's Foundation is dedicated to improving care and advancing research towards a cure.
And when you call our helpline, you'll speak to a real person who can help you find the right information. Because while living with Parkinson's can be challenging, there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one,
When Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday evening. And hello to our friends who are tuning in on KKNW 1150 in Seattle, KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, and our friends tuning in digitally on Facebook, YouTube, and now Minocqua Brewing Company Substack. I hope that you will consider subscribing and sharing our pages, our shows with your family and friends. Let them know where the conversation is happening. And if you're on Minocqua Brewing Company Substack, please consider being a paid subscriber to support the work that we do there, including me, Ben Cominos, Matt McNeil, Kirk Bankstead. We also have our office hours. Tune in on Mondays at 1 o'clock for my office hours, which are only available to paid subscribers. I get to cuss on that if that makes a difference to you. I get to swear on Substack. I'm just saying it's surprising, Tom Appel, that I haven't sworn. I've only sworn once ever on my own shows, both here and at WGN.
I do some stuff. I visit with some podcasts where I can do that, but I can't do it because I feel like the wall will break.
Right. It will change. I know. Even when I was doing, because I do it for my office here, and I'm just like, it just still feels wrong. I'm saying I can. I'm not saying I have.
Yeah.
Or that I will. We also want to thank our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com and put in an order for some of the best single origin roasted to order coffee beans you will ever have. They also will be at your farmers markets. Perhaps you want to stop by the Skokie Farmers Market this weekend, or go to their website and find out where they'll be in your area, in the Chicagoland area. pridecoffeeroasters.com. Every single cup of coffee tastes like a love letter in a mug. They really are some of the best small batch roasters around. Thank you to our friends at Source Solar. Go to source.solar. Make an appointment with Peter Sorellis because he has teamed with Illinois Solar for All to help you with your financing and getting solar panels on your house or business. So go to source.solar. And thank you to our friends at Minocqua Brewing Company, continuing to be a supporter of this show. And I really enjoy working on the marketplace. Please go to MinocquaMarketplace.com. If you like the banner behind me, if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Substack, that banner that says we won't go quietly back to the 1950s, pro-choice, pro-woman, pro-child, and that's from Liberal Lawn on Minocqua Brewing Company Marketplace. I also put in an order for some bloop detergent. That's a fun word to say.
That's
Tom.
a great banner.
Isn't that a great banner?
I like it.
I like that one. Tom Appel, Car Guy Tom, you tell us a little bit about your latest podcast.
Oh, we just had Jamie Butters on the show. And Jamie used to be with Automotive News, and he's one of the most respected auto writers in the nation. He's doing his own thing now, a show called Autotown. But he's a great guy to just sort of gab with about what's going on in the industry. You know, he's one of the people that's on top of the fact that we are losing affordability. So we have that conversation. So if you want to hear more about what may happen as we move forward, will the pool of cars being sold shrink? Will manufacturers do something to build more affordable vehicles? That's what that conversation's about this week.
Excellent. And you can find that wherever you find your podcast. It's Car Stuff Podcast. Tom Appel is Car Guy on all the social media platforms. And you can email him, to get the newsletter?
Yeah, car stuff at consumerguide.com.
Fantastic. And because we are talking about cars, I have an interview coming up with Cheryl Eichar Jett. She's an author who has written about the women and who worked on Route 66. Some of the women's labor history intersects with.
That's really cool.
And the 100th anniversary of Route 66 is this year, folks. I didn't know. I think we would have all been on the road if we'd known that. I know I might try that. At any rate. And then Lorenzo Santos is coming up at 6:30. Thank you so much. Right back after this on WCPT, KKNW, and KTNF, and of course, everywhere digitally.
Kick off the school year with Kohl's Friends and Family Sale. Because with 20% off styles kids love, they're not just going back, they're making an entrance. Save on jeans that turn hallways into runways. Tees that make them walk a little slower, for effect. Sneakers that say, I'm so back. And more confidence-inspiring looks for every grade at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles 20% offer ends August 2nd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
I think my biggest challenge was getting through to him to understand that love is real and you have goals in mind, you have things that want to happen, and I want to help you get there.
Sometimes people tend to shy away from wanting to adopt teenagers because they feel like they've lost so much, but there's still so much to gain.
Just knowing that there's just that other person that cares and loves me out there, it feels great. And they've done so much for me, and I can only be appreciative every single day for just having them in my life.
I think it's been the best decision because I gained a son, and he's the best son ever. If I was down and out, he'd be there.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Hey, everybody, stand by while I find the... You know what? I probably should have asked where the audio was on that one, and I don't know where it is. And I have a interview to air, and I don't have it here. And that's my fault. This is Patti Vasquez. Coming up, we have an interview with Cheryl Eichar Jett. And Paul is running very quickly over here to show me where the interview might be. Where do I find? Is it over here? Oh, yeah. I didn't know. I know that Paul came in and said something. And I was like, yeah, sure. I will find that interview. And it's with Cheryl. Let's see. There it is. There we go. Thank you.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our drive home here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. And hello to all of our friends who tune in digitally on Facebook, YouTube, and maybe now on Substack. A lot of you can find us. Consider subscribing to Minocqua Brewing Company Substack so you can find out more about the great work that they do there. I am very excited about our next guest. I've been trying to plan a road trip on Route 66 for years, and I think I have more reason than ever. Every road trip movie you've ever seen has a man behind the wheel, by the way. Kerouac, Easy Rider, the whole American mythology of the open road is a guy with a full tank and no responsibilities. Hey, but you know what? Somebody made the coffee, somebody ran the motel, somebody pumped the gas, painted the mural, filed a news story, ran a city, drew up the blueprints for the building you stopped to photograph. Route 66 turns 100 years old this November, 2,448 miles, and it starts right here in Chicago at Adams and Michigan, across the street from the Art Institute. 100 years of American history running out our front door. Our next guest has spent a decade tracking down the women who built that road and have gotten left out of the story. Her new book is called Aprons Away, Women's Work on Route 66. She's an Illinois historian, an author, playwright. Please welcome Cheryl Eichar Jett. Am I saying your Eichar correctly? Is that right?
Yes,
Oh,
you are.
I
I'm
didn't
telling
even
people
ask.
the cheap way to pronounce it rhymes with biker.
Appreciate that. Well, welcome to the show, Cheryl. Thank you so much for joining us. Are you staying hydrated?
I am. We've got some hot weather these days, don't we?
Yep. Yeah. Take care of yourself. So let's start talking about you. Where'd you grow up, my friend?
I grew up in Springfield, Jacksonville, and Litchfield, Illinois. So Central Illinois at heart.
And I spent some time in Jacksonville, Illinois. I dated a boy. Let's call him Tom because that was his name, Daniels. I love Jacksonville. That's a wild town with history. I don't think someday I'll talk to you about that, but we're here to talk about this book. Did you grow? I mean, like with a town like Jacksonville and Springfield. I mean, you were surrounded by history all the time, weren't you? Was that something?
Really was.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that, your childhood and being drawn to these stories.
Yeah, I've always lived in Illinois, although I've lived in 7 or 8 different Illinois cities at this point. But my parents were musicians and music teachers, and so that sort of accounted for their moving around a little bit.
Sure.
And I had several different childhood homes. So I grew up surrounded by music and books, which is a pretty good way to be surrounded when you're growing up. And guess what? They had a fascination for road trips.
Sure.
My dad had been, let's say, an itinerant musician for a number of years. He was much older than my mother, like by almost 30 years. He was almost 50 when I was born. And so he'd had a whole career before he met my mother. So he was used to being on the road and he liked it. And my mother had not been much of anywhere before she met my dad, but it didn't take too long before she developed a love for road trips as well. So we were busy going to Iowa and to Wisconsin to visit their family homes and relatives up there. But of course, one year we made the classic boomer trip in the back seat of our mom and dad's car from Illinois all the way to Los Angeles. So that was sort of an auspicious trip. And I came home and I thought about the miles of neon, the length of Albuquerque. And I thought about seeing the ocean and just all the little interesting places along the road that you could stop.
Yeah.
And, but then for a long time, Route 66 was just the way you got somewhere for my generation.
Yeah, I mean, and it's lovely that people are it seems as though more people are taking road trips, especially like with all this stuff on social media where people can share those quirky stops, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's a couple great Facebook groups for Route 66, one in particular, where people can just sort of dive in and say, I don't know what to do when I get here, or what's the best place to stay, or whatever. And people jump in and give a sincere effort to steering people to good stops.
Yeah, I love that. And that's what a great community to build, too, to share stories, right? Beyond the, hey, there's the Smokies on the up ahead. Watch out for the cops. It's a speed trap coming up.
Way beyond that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So your book, Aprons Away, Women's Work on Route 66, we're talking to author Cheryl Eichar Jett. You spent 10 years researching this. What led you to this, this journey? What made you get pulled into these stories?
Well, I think the journey kind of started before that 10-year mark. I had a background in public history and women's studies, so you can kind of see where this is going. Mm-hmm. And almost 20 years ago, I became a travel writer and a Route 66 nut. The Route 66 bug had really bitten again. And so I was doing a lot of travel writing, became primarily involved with Route 66 support and writing. And I started hearing these sort of disparate stories about a woman in this state or a woman in another state that was legendary, say, through the Depression years. She would feed people that didn't have any money or if they had a car that wouldn't run, it barely pulled in, then she would give them a little bit of money for their old car, and it would be the right amount of money that they could catch a bus ticket to California. So I sort of heard all these disparate stories, and I thought, well, this is great, but these stories sort of need to be collected. So I set about collecting the stories, and these were the visible women, the women that served the traveling public that you had a memory of after you got home. But then being a historian and being a woman, I thought there's a lot of women behind the scenes that I haven't heard about.
Yeah. So
that's when I started seriously looking sort of behind the shoulders of Route 66 to find all these other stories. And of course, that's when I encountered so many stories of designers and architects and engineers and journalists and public servants and activists and all these amazing women that may be well known, but they're not associated with Route 66.
Outstanding. It's funny. So my degree is in history. I went to U of I in Champaign-Urbana, and I remember when I read a book by Marge Piercy called "Gone to Soldiers." There's so many pockets of our past that for whatever reason aren't told, including this. This had an element of the story about the WASPs, the women who flew planes as pilots during World War II. And you're right. I mean, and now we are in a moment where people want to continue to push these stories aside. So I'm so grateful for you for writing Aprons Away. It's so important now more than ever.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for the large numbers of people, and especially a lot of women who are wanting to read and hear these stories, because I feel like the whole deal with women's rights and women's history is sort of cyclical. The late 1800s and the early 1900s with that push for the vote. The struggle is the more accurate word to describe it, of course. And then, of course, the 60s when people were really protesting and advocating for all of our human rights. And so now, like you say, when there's people that are trying to push down or rewrite the history of minorities and the history of women, it's more than ever, it's important to get those stories out.
It really is. And this, I didn't realize it started out as a stage play before it was a book, which premiered at Blackburn College, right? Then a full production at Pontiac.
Yes.
So tell us about putting, the voices of the women that you wanted to profile into, having actors bring them to life. What a remarkable experience.
Oh, it was a moving experience for me and for the women that were involved, because I carefully chose women. And of course, it was an all-female cast. And I carefully chose women, for the most part, that I knew and had either acting experience or storytelling experience or activism in their history. So, and I was careful to include women of diversity as well in my selection of characters and then the actresses that played them. So I was really stuck at a point in putting the book together. It had turned into a mammoth project. And I was having a little trouble organizing the book and the criteria that I was going to use, who stayed in, who didn't make the cut. And one morning I just woke up with the idea how amazing it would be to see these women recreated, stepping forward on a stage and telling their stories to the public. And so I ran it by a couple people. And of course, they did like I still do when I talk about it. They said, I got chills on my arm from hearing about this story. So it was wonderful. Some people made it happen, both with money and venues and that sort of thing. And so I was able to do 2 great weekends with the play. We used very little costuming, just a hint. We used very little props, again, just a hint. And the thing that I really wanted to do as an Illinoisan, we all remember the Spoon River Anthology, where somebody sort of stood up from the grave to tell the story of what they were. And I wanted this to be, as a contrast, I wanted this to be more like it was a living woman telling what she's been doing. And so that's the way we played it. And I had people, I I didn't have people. The actresses had people crying and laughing throughout the production. I had more people that were interested in producing it, and then COVID came along and kind of rearranged our lives. And then I got serious about putting the book back together. And so maybe next year I'll be out promoting the play again.
Yes.
It was a fabulous experience.
Yes, I look forward to that. Oh, yes, let's manifest that. Incredible. And Chicago is mile zero. So, when you're here standing at that sign, what do you see that maybe a tourist taking a selfie? What do you see that's different from like someone just like going, "Hey, there's the sign," instead of that incredible journey?
I think about the incredible journey that those people are about to embark on, especially if this is their first time. And there's a lot of pride in it because Route 66, of course, is a thing worldwide. It's arguably the most famous highway in the world. And to see people there that are clearly from, not from the U.S., and they're so excited to begin their journey. And I'm excited for them.
I wonder, with all the folks coming in from around the world for the World Cup, I don't know if I tracked any. I mean, there were people who were not just going to the games and did fall in love with parts of the country. I mean, who would have thought that ranch dressing was going to be the big hero of the World Cup and Waffle House, right?
Who knew?
That's
right?
wild. Yeah. I hope that folks come in because now we have the centennial. November 11th, there's a federal commission, events in all 8 states. What would you like folks to do in addition to reading your book in honor of the 100th anniversary? What do you want folks to reminisce or reflect on in this anniversary as we approach it?
I think that they could reflect in several ways. They could think of how Route 66 sort of signifies the American dream. I mean, in the United States, we've always gone westward, manifest destiny, Lewis and Clark, whatever. And so Route 66 has been no different. It's always accepted, in the guidebooks. You look at Illinois and then Missouri, et cetera, and you're building up to get to California. So I think it's sort of that American dream thing. I guess as a historian, I think about Route 66 very much as a microcosm of American history. And that 100 years of Route 66, of course, we suffered from the Great Depression. We went through the World War II era. We went through the big economic boom and the big travel boom of the 50s. And so there's a lot to think about. So in a way, I think that reflection is very personal, but I do hope that people kind of take it in context of America 250 as well.
Amazing. And before we go, is there one person that jumps to mind from you out of the book that you want to make sure people know about? I mean, obviously we want to make sure everyone knows about them, but is there a particular story you'd like to share as a snippet? I'm
going to give 2 quick examples sort of at the end of each end of the spectrum as far as education and career accomplishment, that sort of thing. I love the story of the architect Julia Morgan, who grew up in the San Francisco area. She was lucky enough to have a architect take her under his wing. She became a great architect. She's basically known for the Hearst family publishing the Hearst Castle.
Wow.
But she also designed buildings right downtown in Los Angeles that are just like a block from the route, which is fabulous. The other end of the spectrum, I love a woman named Ruby Denton from Groom, Texas, that had a 10th grade education. She was divorced. Nobody would loan her the money. And she still operated a highly successful restaurant in Groom, Texas that everybody, loved her for.
Love it.
And everybody in between.
Folks, the stereotype is the waitress, the motel owner, but Cheryl Eichar Jett found the journalists, the elected officials, women who design the theme parks and toys, and it really changes the picture of the way we imagine and experience this Route 66. Everyone, the website is julieeicherjett.com. We'll also have information on the Patti Vasquez show page, but that's CherylEicherJett.com. That's EICHAR and Jet with 2 T's. But everyone can find the information on my Facebook page. And I look forward to talking to you again. Anytime you want to join us, just please don't hesitate to reach out. Do you have any events coming up soon that you'd like people to know about? Any book signings?
I do, but believe it or not, they're at the end of the country. I'm going to be in Tulsa and Albuquerque and Los Angeles in the upcoming month. But then when I get back, then I'm going to be back doing a lot of Illinois again. So I'll keep you posted.
Outstanding. Well, safe travels. And it's nice talking to the Route 66 chick. Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Hey, thank you so much, Patty. It was great.
Absolutely. More after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, KTNF AM 950.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing across the area tonight with a low temperature of 68 degrees and winds out of the southeast at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Scattered storms remain likely Saturday with a high temperature of 70. We could see 1 to 2 inches of additional rain through the day. Sunday, patchy showers with a high of 70. Monday, lots of sun, high of 74. Sunny Tuesday, high of 79 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 73.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our drive home here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and our friends tuning in on KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, and of course, everywhere you're listening digitally, maybe Facebook or YouTube, and now Substack with Minocqua Brewing Company page. Please consider subscribing to all of our platforms and sharing with your family and friends so that they can join the conversation too. All of our shows are available as podcasts as well on heartlandsignal.com, where we encourage you to visit our newsroom. They're catching the stories that shape our democracy, just like these conversations. I'm so excited to bring back our next guest, who you've heard on our show before. You know, Wisconsin, in about 2.5 weeks, and actually beginning shortly, early voting is going to begin. But August 11th, you know about the top of the ballot. Tony Evers is done. 5 Democrats are fighting over an open governor's seat, and Tom Tiffany is waiting on the other side of it. That race is going to eat every headline between now and then. So please make sure you go through every single race on the ballot, because part of that ballot in Racine and Kenosha and Janesville and Beloit, there's a congressional primary that almost nobody is covering. Brian Steele's seat, I think it's pronounced differently, but Steele sounds right. The one Paul Ryan used to hold, it's been in Republican hands since 1995. 33,000 people in that district are buying health insurance with federal tax credits that Congress let expire on New Year's Eve. In January, the House voted to bring them back, and it passed. 17 Republicans crossed the aisle to do it. Their congressman was not one of them. Our next guest wants that job. Lorenzo Santos, Navy veteran, Navy reservist, and until April, the man who ran emergency services for Racine County. 3 Democrats on the ballot, and he's one of them. Lorenzo, are you staying hydrated, my friend?
Staying hydrated, Patty.
Excellent. So tell people why. Well, let's talk about why Chicago and Illinois, and actually the rest of the country, should care about Kenosha. Talk to us about this race.
Yeah, this race is for the 1st District of Wisconsin, southeast Wisconsin, South Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha, Walworth, Rock counties. It's very important because when we look at this, we have an administration that is hurting the entire U.S. economy. Everybody, no matter what political party you come from, you're hurting right now because of what's happening with tariffs and what's happening with the Iran war. And if you look at, one of the things that everyone does, no matter what, you either go out to eat, go to a restaurant, or you go grocery shopping every week for food. So what we're seeing is all of those things are increased. As far as the cost of living, the cost of, putting food on the table, and then to just get to work, where a lot of Americans are not making a livable wage, and we need to make sure we're improving that. But just to get to work, to make ends meet, to be able to fill up your tank, now that's becoming twice as expensive because of those tariffs and because of this Iran war. Right now, I think we saw that recently the figure came out that farmers have had to pay $1.4 billion more for fuel, for diesel, than they had to last year. $1,500 out of their pockets that they weren't having to pay, last spring planting season. This is a big deal. This is hurting everyone. So we have an administration that is making terrible decisions, that is, allowing us to get into unforced wars that are hurting the global economy, that are hurting the local economy. That's why we need to make sure that we care about this race. We have this race in the 1st and the 3rd. We have the ability to put 2 members of Congress in the House that will actually hold this administration accountable and not allow them to keep doing these harmful things that are hurting the economy.
What a wonderful way to frame all of that and impress upon people how important this is. And before we get to the rest of the issues, the topics, I want to let folks, know a little bit more about you. Tell us about where you grew up, and let me know, was your family political at all? Do you remember talking about politics during, as a child?
My family was not political. I grew up in a military family. So just by virtue of the military, I grew up with a lot of military members. My dad was 34-year veteran of the Navy, and you don't really talk necessarily about politics per se. I grew up watching the news a lot, and I understood, what was happening, and I think that's important to be, well informed. But, when I was in the military, we didn't talk politics because it didn't matter. We had a mission to accomplish together, no matter where you came from, no matter what your political persuasion was, and that continues today, where I have a lot of friends who are still in the military. I didn't know what their politics were until I called them to let them know that I was running for Congress. And then I finally understood where they leaned politically. But the point is this matters to everyone right now, no matter what political party they come from, because everyone's hurting. Everyone's affected by the cost of living and the cost of energy going up just to fill up your gas tank. It's hurting. I have friends who are still in the military who are affected by this war because they can't speak out against it if they're active duty. In fact, I have a twin in the military, and a fellow twin and fellow Navy veteran spoke up against the Trump administration. His name is Senator Mark Kelly. And Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump, tried to read him the riot act for basically saying, look, this what's already on the books as law. Military members should not follow illegal orders. And Pete Hegseth had a problem with that, and Donald Trump had a problem with that. This is an important race because, we just celebrated the 250th anniversary of the United States. And when we became a country, we fought against despotic and overreach of government. And right now we are seeing that with the current president. He's trying to sow and cast doubt in our electoral process. He did it during January 6th, and he's trying to do it now. And on January 6th, he, put the federal legislature in danger. He put his own vice president in danger, and he put Capitol police officers in danger. And one of those Capitol police officers was my cousin, Eugene Goodman. And this is a president who is a sore loser. And just like he was a sore loser when he lost the 2020 election, he knows that his policies are unpopular, and he's doing everything he can to try and interfere with this election as well.
Yeah, clearly. And is Eugene the officer who was by himself trying to, because I believe I remember him at the top of the stairs, every hallway, trying to slow them down and back them up. Was that your cousin?
Exactly. That is Eugene, and I'm incredibly proud of him. Eugene is a veteran himself, of the Army.
Oh, my God.
I've had role models like this all my life.
You guys, if you remember, Eugene was holding the line by himself in those hallways, on those stairwells. Wow. And you also, as the emergency manager in Racine County, what did that look like when the government shut down the fall of 2025 and benefits were paused? Was that something you were getting phone calls about as well?
Oh yeah, one of the biggest things that happened. This is also we saw the longest government shutdown in U.S. history because of this administration, their ineptitude. And Yeah, we were getting calls, and one of the first things we were getting calls about were Americans being able to feed their families. SNAP benefits were on the line, and Donald Trump, tried to go to the Supreme Court to shut down SNAP. This is Americans just trying to put food on the table, and Brian Style and Donald Trump thought that was a problem, and that's why we need to have someone in Congress that actually gives a damn about the people of this country, that does not have contempt for people who are merely just trying to survive and trying to feed their families. This is a serious matter. As an emergency manager, I was watching FEMA get gutted, and this is an administration that said he wanted to destroy FEMA, eliminate FEMA. FEMA has been through the ringer because of this administration, and we need to make sure that they are fully funded, because emergency managers, first of all, they're not fully funded at the level they should be, and they're underpaid to do the job that they do. They do an amazing job with the resources they're given, but they don't need the federal government making it even harder for them to do their job. And on top of that, I watched a lot of trainings that were supposed to be scheduled get canceled because of this administration. Some of our top grants that make sure that local communities are prepared for the worst that could happen to them were completely shut down because this administration was playing political games, calling those grants fraud, waste, and abuse when they were nothing of the sort. And then, of course, being a military member, I was a reservist during the time. And my reserve duty, I could not go on reserve duty. And I was supposed to go to a 2-month-long training. That training was canceled because of this administration, and no reservists in the country could drill. So it was also a national security issue because you have people who are supposed to be regularly training so that they can go and support the active duty component. They were not able to do that because this administration couldn't get their act together and ensure that the government was fully funded, all while Brian Style was still getting his full paycheck. This is why we need to have a Congress that is willing to stand up to this administration. And Brian Style, he folds every time, while the people of this district have to deal with the consequences of the terrible decisions that this administration makes.
I so appreciate your, ability to break this down for folks. And for people who are like, you're in Chicago, Patty, why do you care about a race in Wisconsin? First of all, then you don't listen to the show very often because you know that I created fibs for Wisconsin, and we went door knocking because what happens with our neighbors in the north affects all of us here in Illinois and across the country. And, we were part of amplifying the messaging of your race when you ran in 2024 and you stepped aside. What did running in that race teach you about running in this race?
What running in that race taught me is, I looked at someone that I respect immensely, and because of their record of service, I thought it was the best thing for me to allow them to run that race and to be our standard bearer, to be our nominee. And I stepped aside and I endorsed that individual. What I will say is it taught me to never do that again, because I am the best person to go against Brian Style. I'm the best person to make the case against this administration. Look, a lot of the folks that we've put forth, they need to make sure that when we're fighting against this administration, an administration that shows us that they have no compunction about cheating, that shows us that they do not care about the average American, that shows us that they do not care about the working class, they're more concerned about protecting the Epstein class. And that's one of the things that Donald Trump said he would do, is release the Epstein files. They have done no such thing. We have to have someone who's willing to fight. We cannot have lukewarm people in this seat. We cannot have people who think we can be moderate and fight against MAGA. And that's why I'm running in this race. That's why I have not stepped aside. And frankly, even my party right now, I have differences with the Democratic Party right now. There are differences that we are going to work out. And it's not meant to be a negative thing. But if we're going to fight against MAGA, a party that has cheated at every turn, that has a standard bearer who has 34 felonies, who has been, found guilty of rape, and they continue to prop this guy up, we cannot have people who are going to be soft. And that is why I am running, because I'm prepared to have this fight. I am not going to hold back. And the gloves are completely off, because this is a party that is coming for not only our pocketbooks, our ability to pay our bills, but they're coming for our civil rights and our ability to vote. And we cannot allow that to happen.
We are talking to Lorenzo Santos, who's running for Congress in Wisconsin. And folks, if you're going to come at me about what Lorenzo said about Donald Trump being adjudicated as a rapist, he was held liable in the Jeannie Carroll case, and Eugene Carroll, and they did rule that it was credible and that he was liable for telling her she was lying about being raped by him. So we're not going to get into that conversation. And I also want to let folks know, Lorenzo, we've been having this conversation repeatedly about Democrats, trying to, we're trying to push in the direction of what is not just going to, restore our faith in our, agencies and our government. And I'm not saying that we're going to get all the way there, but move in a direction where we aren't afraid of masked people cosplaying as law enforcement in unmarked police cars without even using sirens and lights, kidnapping people, killing people, just to name some of the things. And so, when we challenge within our party, it is to make us stronger and better. Because I got accused of being a Republican yesterday for criticizing Democrats.
Exactly.
I was like, oh goodness. Do you have time for another segment, my friend?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. We're talking to Lorenzo Santos. He's running for Congress in Wisconsin. You can go to lorenzoforcongress.com. Again, that's lorenzoforcongress.com. He's running to replace remind me of the district, because I have so much information in front of me, but it's Racine, Kenosha, all those areas, right?
South Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha, Walworth, and Rock Counties. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Let's continue our conversation with Lorenzo when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, KTNF AM 950. Hello to everyone who's tuning in digitally. We're so happy to have you all here. We'll be back in a moment.
Hey, Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
No detours, no distractions. Just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation with Lorenzo Santos, who's running for Congress in Wisconsin. And hello to all our friends who are tuning in on KTNF AM 950, Minneapolis, St. Paul, KKNW 1150 in Seattle. Of course, we're broadcasting here in Chicago on WCPT 820. And hello to everyone tuning in digitally. We're so thrilled to have you here. Please consider subscribing and sharing with your friends and family so they can join the conversation too. Hey, I want to continue this conversation about, you mentioned earlier, Lorenzo, the ways in which the Trump administration is trying to not just put their thumb on the scales in forms of manipulate the speech. Look, the speech he gave last week alone shows that he wants to interfere with our elections. And Marquette's polling had 81% of Wisconsin Democrats still undecided in the governor's race, which sometimes can drive voters like, I don't know, I'll just see who ends up being on the general election ballot, right? And the primary is often the election. In this case, it is, a Democrat and Republican in a seat that has been held for more than a decade by Republicans. So tell us a little about voter turnout and the dangers that this administration poses in your election.
Well, voter turnout is definitely historically lower during the midterm elections. But what we also know is this administration understands that they're going to lose seats. They are going to lose elections. They've already been losing a multitude of special elections across the board. And they know that generally, historically, the party in power in the White House loses seats during the midterm elections. That's why this administration is trying so hard to pass things like the SAVE Act. That really is just a voter suppression bill, making it harder to vote, making it harder to register, making it harder to make your voice heard. And they're trying to cast doubt on the electoral process when really they're a part of the problem. We've had organizations like CISA and from a Homeland Security, Cyber Security, Infrastructure and Security Administration that has been gutted by this administration. And then Trump just recently all but disbanded the Election Assistance Commission, which would have helped at the local level ensure that we have organized and free and fair elections. So when they try to sow discord and doubt, this administration has no credibility. What they're doing this for is because Donald Trump, again, is a sore loser, and he wants to do everything he can to show that when he loses, he's going to try and paint it as there was something wrong with the electoral process.
It's interesting because this was exactly what he did ahead of the election in 2016 was sowing those seeds of doubt. And we've heard Bannon say, Right. I mean, it's okay. I don't want to get into the weeds on this drumbeat of diminishing faith in our elections, which he has done repeatedly. So let's talk a little more about the issues. Racine and Kenosha are manufacturing counties. Walworth and Rock are a lot. There's a lot of farm country. The American Farm Bureau just put industry losses for the 2025-2026 crop season around $34.6 billion. And the administration answered with a $12 billion bailout. So talk to us about how the tariffs and how prices continue to have such a catastrophic impact on the people in your district.
Yeah, tariffs make it, extremely hard to trade with other countries. It really makes it hard for us to work with other countries because it makes the ability to do so cost prohibitive. So at the end of the day, Donald Trump uses tariffs basically as a hammer for everything, when really what he needs to understand is tariffs are not a tax on other countries. They are a sales tax on the American consumer. So when he touts how much revenue tariffs have brought in, really what he's saying is, I have charged the American people this amount of money, these billions of dollars. And then he goes and tries to tout that as a victory. And for our farmers, again, they have been hurt by this tariff war that we're having that's unnecessary with even countries that we should be friendly with, like Canada, and the Iran war. The Iran war, again, has all but doubled the price of fuel so that, farmers are able to do everything from fill their farming equipment to the truck that they drive to all the markets that they sell their goods at. And we already know that it's over 1.4 billion is what it's cost them. For aviation, when farmers are spraying their crops, we know that the cost of doing that has all but doubled. So it is cost prohibitive right now. Our farmers are spending on average $120,000 more for their budgets than they had projected. And these are family businesses, and they're hurting. And they're, we have put the people who feed America in a position where they wonder if they can feed their own families because their budgets are being stretched to the limit. And Brian Style has done nothing to help. Like you said, they tied this assistance that you're talking about for farmers to a military spending bill, which is very ironic because we shouldn't be in this war anyway. So this is another example of the Trump administration causing problems and then, really doing nothing to fix it and only throwing a drop of water on the immense flames that they have caused.
Yeah, it is absolutely heartbreaking to see, the impact that it's having. I mean, we know that in other parts of the country, and I haven't really looked at the numbers or the rates in Wisconsin, but the suicide rate is going up amongst farmers across the country, which is absolutely devastating. Yeah. And I think that we need folks who are delivering the message of, here's how I'm going to fight for you. Here's the work I'm willing to do. And in addition to that, there are, I believe, about 33,000 Wisconsinites who relied on the subsidies that were cut with the big, beautiful bill. I mean, we know it's tens of thousands of people. Tell us a little bit about what you've heard. I mean, it is 33,000, I believe, in your district alone, actually, we're using those tax credits. And advocacy groups put the average hit around $12,000 a year for a basic plan. Are you hearing from folks directly that they're getting these bills and just had no idea this was going to happen, or, that they're struggling to be able to cover their families?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. When we look at what's happening in this country, you look at healthcare as one of the top expenses. Rent is sky high, healthcare is sky high, childcare is sky high. People are hurting, and this big, beautiful bill, which is really a big, ugly lie, is really a tax cut for the rich that they do not need at a time where most people that are, making less than $200,000 a year are struggling. And we're giving people who do not need any of this support one of the largest tax cuts we've ever given in our country's history. And we are taking millions of Americans off of healthcare that they so desperately need. And a lot of them need it to survive, to have that healthcare that's going to make sure that, you know, they're able to get that insulin, or they're able to get their asthma medication, or they're able to go and get that treatment for cancer. That is the last ditch effort that they can have to survive. This is an administration that has said that they were going to do better than Obamacare, and Donald Trump still has nothing more than concepts of a plan. That's why what I would do with the next Congress is make sure that we pass Medicare for all. People ask how you can pay for it. Well, we're paying for wars overseas. This Congress, has no problem paying for Pete Hegseth's requested multi-billion-dollar war and the trillion-dollar defense budget that we do not need to keep paying for. We could pay for things like Medicare for all. We could pay for universal health care. We could pay for universal child care. Donald Trump, this administration, J.D. Vance wants Americans to have more babies, but they make it more expensive. It doesn't make sense. We could pay for all of these things, but we're not doing what needs to be done because we do not have people who understand what everyday Americans are going through in Congress. That includes Brian Style. That's why we need to replace these people and ensure that we have people who are going to fight for us.
Absolutely. And your platform calls for sensible immigration reform, which has been doing a lot of heavy lifting in politics for about 30 years. In a district with the Latino population Racine and Kenosha have, and in this enforcement climate, what does that mean to you specifically?
Well, first and foremost, it means not making ICE a paramilitary force in the largest federal law enforcement agency than all of them combined. It means not allowing ICE to conduct extrajudicial killings of U.S. citizens and unarmed citizens on American streets. So that's the first thing. We need to make sure that we're not having a paramilitary force out there that is essentially conducting domestic terrorism operations against its own people. And then we need to make sure that we have common sense immigration, comprehensive immigration. We had a bill that should have been signed years ago. But Donald Trump decided that because this would be a win for all Americans and not him, he wanted to run against this bill. That bill, we need to sign comprehensive immigration reform into law. We already had a solution. We already had a bipartisan agreement on this. And frankly, I'll say this also. When we look at housing, when we look at the ability to make affordable housing for all Americans, Donald Trump also pulled a temper tantrum on that, because he wanted the SAVE Act passed. So this is an administration, this is a GOP-enabling Congress that didn't allow us to pass comprehensive immigration reform. And we would have had immigration reform that was compassionate and that was efficient and that didn't result in dead Americans on our streets because we had ICE run amok. And we also would have had affordable housing passed into law just recently if we did not have Donald Trump also pulling a temper tantrum on that. So again, we have the opportunity to get a lot of things done, but we need to make sure, because Donald Trump isn't going anywhere for 2 years unless, his cabinet does the right thing. He's going to be there, but we need a Congress that can hold the line against this administration. We can pass comprehensive immigration reform. We already have a bill that both parties have agreed upon, and we just need to make sure that we have the numbers that can override a veto against this very immature president who seems to only want something if it directly benefits him instead of if it benefits the American people.
Amen. Lorenzo Santos, you can go to lorenzoforcongress.com to learn more about his campaign. You don't have to live in his district to support his efforts. To take a look at his platform, you can go to his website, and if you appreciate what he's doing and why he's running, consider contributing. And if you live in the area, consider volunteering for any of the campaigns that you believe in. This is what I'm encouraging across the board. Lorenzo, with the last minute we have left, tell our audience why you are the person that should win this seat in remind me again, the congressional district. I don't have it in front of me. How silly is that? Sorry.
Yes. So Wisconsin Congressional District 1, I'm in it because I'm in it to win it. I have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with Brian Style, who has done nothing, who has been an empty suit, and who is not standing up for the people of the 1st District. He's got to go. You're not going to do the job. Get the heck out and go find something else to do, Brian. People are hurting. At the end of the day, I have the experience. I've been in the military. I understand the geopolitical consequences of a war in Iran. I will hold this administration accountable. I understand the economy. I've been a regional sales manager. I understand what businesses, big and small, are going through. I've been in local government. I understand what the federal government needs to do to support our local government and our local communities. That's what I'm prepared to do. Brian Stile is asleep at the wheel. And I'm prepared to take on these challenges that he refuses to take on. I'm prepared to fight for our district, no matter who is in the White House. I'm going to fight for our district. Doesn't matter if we have a Democratic president or not. If they do something that opposes the interest of the 1st District of Wisconsin, they will hear about it from me.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lorenzo Santos. Everyone go to lorenzoforcongress.com. And when does early voting start in Wisconsin?
July 28th. So you got some time to get out there and get ready.
Excellent. July 28th. Safe travels, my friend. I know you're coming to visit some folks here to get them fired up and excited about your race because it does impact us here in Illinois. And we wish you the very best and look forward to touch base with you. We can touch base again before the final day on August 11th. So reach out and or we'll reach out and see how your schedule looks because I know you're busy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Patty.
Take care. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. Bye, Paul.
I am often asked, why is it important to have a living trust? The most important reason is control, being able to control where your investment accounts, retirement accounts, and your home go upon your passing. This is Tony Moret. I've been an estate planning lawyer here in the Chicago area for over 35 years. You have probably heard my ads here on WCPT over the last several years, and it has been a privilege to be on their airwaves. The reality is, for most people, their assets will go through a court-supervised process in probate court, which can be expensive and takes many months. Having a living trust will make sure this does not happen. Control of your assets will be handled directly by your trusted family member or friend. I will explain every step of the process to make sure you are comfortable with the plan as we move forward. Please call me at 847-996-0496 to start. There is no fee for the initial consultation and no obligation. Again, my phone is 847-996-0496. I look forward to speaking with you.
What is dedication?
My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between. I think a parent's job is to protect our children but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Amazon Business. Discover smart business buying, where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Mike Hempen. Hamas says it will agree to disarm as part of the Gaza deal announced by President Trump. AP correspondent Sam Mednick reports.
Officials have told the Associated Press that Hamas has agreed to disarm, which is a significant step and could lead to the end of the war in Gaza. Although there are many obstacles that lie ahead, this could take an extremely long time, and it's unclear if it will happen at all. Officials said that Hamas has agreed to a roadmap to disarm, but it is contingent also on Israel also fulfilling its part of the deal, which is stopping the hostilities as well as withdrawing from the areas of Gaza that it controls, which is more than half of the enclave at this point. Israel has not responded to this to say if they agree. They did not say anything after U.S. President Donald Trump announced this on Thursday. Now, this has come 9 months after a U.S. brokered ceasefire between Israel and Hamas went into effect. The deal has been for many months deadlocked, and this issue of disarmament has been a key sticking point. A copy of the agreement seen by the Associated Press and verified by the AP says that all of the police arms in Gaza will be given to a technocratic Palestinian committee. They will be handed over to them.
Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson is defending her decision to oust the city's police chief, Sean Barnes, as the right decision at the right time. The leadership change comes as police continue searching for people involved in a fatal gang-related shootout at a food festival near the Space Needle last weekend. Authorities have released an early ransom note in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, Guthrie in hopes that someone will recognize the writing style. A second note released Friday indicated Guthrie died shortly after she was kidnapped on February 1st. U.S. stocks ended the month trending upward. The Dow added 0.5%. The NASDAQ jumped 1%. This is AP News. A pilot survives a military jet crash in California. We hear about it from the AP's Jennifer King.
The U.S. Marine Corps says a pilot is in stable condition after ejecting from a military jet that crashed near Miramar Air Base near San Diego. The F-35B stealth fighter went down in a field. Video showed a plume of black smoke surrounded by flame-retardant foam, along with military vehicles and firefighters at the scene spraying down the smoking wreckage. Wade Lott says he saw the crash from his truck as he drove to work at a local concrete company. Lott says he saw two jets descending toward the runway, and the first landed without incident, but the second jet began slowing down almost as if it were trying to hover. Lott says the pilot ejected and the parachute deployed just in time as the jet plowed into the runway right next to another plane. The F-35B is an advanced version of a stealth fighter jet with an engine that's designed for short takeoffs and is capable of vertical landings. I'm Jennifer King.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Dive deeper into the heart of the news and stories at WCPT 820 and across the Midwest by checking out our website, heartlandsignal.com.
It's the coverage I can count on every time.
For the latest news updates, in-depth analysis, compelling stories, comprehensive election coverage, live streams, and thought-provoking opinions, head to heartlandsignal.com.
When I need to know, they're there.
They keep me informed and updated wherever I am.
Stay informed with WCPT 820, your go-to source for where facts matter.
Tell me how you're doing, really. Tell me that you missed the bus this morning, your rent's past due, and your stress level has skyrocketed. I'm here for you. To listen, not judge. To connect you to local mental health resources. No matter what you're going through, specialists like me from NAMI Chicago Helpline are here for you. Call or text Helpline to 833-626-4244. That's 833-626-4244.
1 in 10 people age 50 and older in the U.S. have early age-related macular degeneration.
Because macular degeneration often has no early symptoms, many don't know they have it until irreversible vision loss has already occurred.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments.
Schedule a comprehensive eye exam to protect your sight.
Macular Degeneration Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Go to stopamd.org to learn more.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Let's be honest. The National Symphony may not be in his future, but he wanted to try violin. So you said yes because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more about keeping your kids safe in your vehicle at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Show him you love him. Keep him safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
Welcome to the bar. It's political. Step up to the bar. Thinking critical. Don't think at the bar, whoever you are, the politics bar. With Sean Smith, Pierce, and Jody Hamilton.
Holy crap, we made it, Jody.
So far, we have 2 hours.
Okay, but look, I mean, we get to hang out with each other. We also get to hang out with all these good people who are coming into the bar, and we get to hang out with both Karen and Anita of the True Blue Politics podcast. So I think, we can actually say yay, as in fry yay, with that.
I like fries.
Exactly, me too. And we like you guys who are coming into the bar. Thank you, everybody who is coming in and joining us from whatever corner of the world you are, whether that is WCPT AM 820 in Chicago or Georgia Now Radio in the ATL. Maybe you're listening up in the cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul's AM 950, or maybe you're listening down in Tennessee on the Detour Talk or on Progressive Voices Radio worldwide, somewhere else on the planet, or maybe you are one of our many and varied future people listening on your favorite podcast player or listening because you are subscribed to thepoliticsbar.com. $6 a month. Remember, it's really easy. It is inexpensive. $6 for one whole month. You can't even get a drink for $6 a night. So think about it. $6 for a whole month gets you all the drinks from the drink of the day. Also happens to get you the news on tap, and it happens to get you the podcast. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. By the way, we've been having a little bit of fun. Daryl and Seth and kind of back and forth between the Blue Sky corner of the bar and running over to the Substack corner of the bar, talking about different flavors of Tang. We'll just say grape.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Everybody, Louise.
Also, by the way, Seth has been talking about how he looks like George Clooney. I guess he's got a picture up today that he sent us in the Blue Sky corner of the bar here, where he says, he's got him, and then in the handheld mirror that he has is George Clooney looking back at him. He says, "I always need to make sure I look my best before entering the politics bar." I bet George does the same. So, look, you guys are all hilarious. We are glad you interact with us in whatever way you do, and we're glad that you are here and part of the evening. So, thank you very much for hanging with us. All right. It's been an interesting week. It's been a weird week in some ways. I noticed that the mainstream keeps missing some things, which is not surprising, the mainstream media. Although it's mainstream news media, which is different, obviously, than the mainstream entertainment media, which the whole Spider-Man thing. When we talked to BDT on Monday, I'm sure
Can't wait to hear his review.
Oh, it seems like most people are saying that it's really good. They're giving out spoilers about who's in the movie that's tied to X-Men and tied to this other, tied to the Avengers.
You just look at the if you look at the trailer, you can see all of that.
Well,
too.
Yeah, it's kind of it's interesting. Of course, there's some TV news as well today. One show that you liked is not making it back. Marvel related.
It was so good.
They said it was getting another season too. So we'll talk about all of that. But I suppose we do need to talk about the things that the mainstream media is missing, since somebody has to inform everybody, and clearly they're not. So, look, we'll start off in the first round of the news on tap with Donald's failed foreign affairs. So, the Iran war is still going on, even if the mainstream isn't concentrating in it as much. Iran admits they targeted a U.S. military base, and that was on Thursday. It was last night here. They used drones, and then Trump is today at Camp David, basically still trying to find out how to get out of Iran, which is, the easy way to get out of Iran would be to just get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get out of the conflict, admit, oops, made a mistake, it's all done. But anyway, I'm sure there was nothing really there. He was blathering on. He was being an idiot again, just making mistakes in his speech and sounding foolish because, well, he's Donald. He did do this one bit about blaming. So the state of Minnesota, their officials found that there was a cyber attack on several town and city water systems across the state. Yeah. And their people forwarded some other people, talked to some tech people, say they think it's Iran. They forwarded some federal people who said they think it's Iran. Trump said, no, Minnesota attacked itself.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trump at the cabinet meeting at Camp David today says Minnesota attacked itself.
That's like everybody at the Fauci hearing saying that the Chinese released a deadly disease on their own people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
On purpose.
Also, remember, same mentality that Bernie Moreno's daughter.
God bless her, man.
Yeah, she deserved it. She was asking for it.
She was, look at what she was wearing. Look at what she said to him. I mean,
but there's the pattern. It's the same mentality across the board. Couldn't be me. Had to be you. I didn't do it. Not my fault. Had to be you. Had to be somebody else. Not me. It's you. Never me. It's always you.
He's just, if it were Mar-a-Lago, would he care? I mean,
I don't think so. I mean, he would blame somebody else. That's Donald always blames other people and the people that side with him. The economy is never his fault either, by the way. None of
Biden's
these things.
fault.